Yo, it's good, your boy Southbury 706. This is KTSC Ave episode 225, I think, maybe. It's been a minute. Been moving, semi settled in, but we're back at it. Myself and Marcus Sniffles, shout out to Adolphus Savage. He'll return one day, but right now it's the gang. So what's good?
Yeah, I was about to text him, man. What's he ain't doing nothing. Tell him to
I
pull
mean,
up.
he clearly has physical issues going on right now. He's an invalid.
Hey man, he can still if he can sit, he can pod.
Hey man, $20 million a year. Shout out to Joe Budden. I know his ops are sick. I know
That's
his ops are
disgusting.
sick. That yeah, man. I want to talk about that, but we cleared that off. But definitely subscribe to the YouTube, to the podcast page, Spotify, all that shit. Probably more to the YouTube for now, but yeah, we never did get to talk about the Joe Budden thing. I didn't read the article, but I am now a loyal listener to the Joe Budden podcast, and shout out to him. It's like if the numbers are true, generating that type of income from you know podcasting, advertisements on podcasting, brand deals like Prize Picks, and just kind of if you've listened to the podcast, you've seen the ups and downs, ebbs and flows. Just even from his rap career, which again, this might be one of the greatest like stories from transitioning from one career to another. Outside of like sportscasters doing broadcasting, but like Joe Budden was never this popular as an artist, but now he's one of the biggest voices in media. Like, period, flat stop. Like, I listened to the episode this weekend. I don't know if you listened, but he was making. He wasn't making. He was singing a song of some terrible artist in New York City. But the song is very catchy, and I went on TikTok and it said like they're clipping it up. Joe Budden sings this song. It's hilarious, but like he's big to the point where him even just mentioning something kind of blows it up on the internet. And that's a
Yeah,
crazy power to have for somebody who in the rap game, is known for pumping up. Like he's like the one hit wonder guy for most people that aren't engaged in the culture. What's up, Melanie? I don't know if you're real, you a bot, but what's cracking?
uh, I feel like a lot of people kind of almost like kind of wait to see what his opinion is on certain music and topics, and like he has the biggest voice in rap culture. Like his opinion matters for everybody. Like from the biggest star to like an up and coming artist. Like there's an up and coming R&B artist that he shot it out, and then there's the Cardi B's notice when he speaks on them. So it's like you almost want to be spoken about uh, uh on that podcast, at least get a mention or something. Like it changes how you're viewed.
Yeah. And like people preyed on his downfall, the whole
Yeah.
Rory and Mal situation, just everything, the Spotify situation. And shout out to that Black King for getting the bag and kind of showing a pathway for other people to get the bag for creatives, being very transparent. I do appreciate people that are transparent with what they do and kind of give away the game. It's just a matter of you executing it. Even to like the point where he's even telling his own cast members like, "Hey, y'all should have Patreons." And I said this back when the whole switcheroo happened that he was getting a lot of flack for the podcast being a little bit janky at first when he got Ice and Ish, but he was kind of really coaching them up in real time and kind of fought through the rough periods, and now they're kind of staples on the program. Kind of old manish type shit sometimes, but they're good. They have great chemistry. It is interesting. Mark Lamont Hill was a very good pickup. I enjoy listening to his commentary
Very
on the
big pickup,
podcast.
though.
It yeah,
It changes the dynamic a lot.
even moves like that where I don't know if it was Joe or his team that had the foresight like to bring in people like him or a Queen's Flip, which I did not. I hated. I hated Queen Flips when he first came to the podcast. It was terrible. He is garbage. He he podcasts like he has a lot of. And this is gonna sound crazy, but it's gonna make sense if you listen to the podcast. He has a lot of like Donald Trump isms, like mannerisms when he's talking. He just sounds very stupid, and maybe it's a New York thing. They're both from. I think they're both. I think Donald Trump's from Queens, right?
I have no idea where that nigga's from.
No,
He's from the pits of hell.
he's from New York City. Let me see. Donald Trump. I believe he's from Queens. From New York.
Flip sounds a lot worse now though. When now that Mark is there, like seeing those
Oh,
two
all of them
different
sound.
positions, it
All of
looks
them
way
sound
worse.
worse. They all sound like. They all sound.
Oh
Yep. He's
yeah,
from.
yeah.
Yep. Hey, Donald Trump, born 1946, Queens, New York City. So
Yikes.
it might be a Queen.
Yikes.
Shout to Jazz. Yeah, we need to question. His beard is actually AI. We're experimenting with new technology. We got the AI beard cracking. DM, you want the link?
That's crazy. Coming from you, that's crazy. That's hate. What are we doing? How did this happen?
That's insane. But yeah, those are great moves from Joe Budden, and it's great that he's doing his thing. Um, I guess I had another point about the podcast, but I can't remember it. Oh, the Mark
Well,
thing. Yeah, Mark definitely balances out the bullshit that be going on in that
it's so
podcast.
much bullshit on there. I guess you don't really realize you don't realize how much bullshit is said on there until you hear like someone else kind of combat it and be like, "Hey, let's look at the other side of this," or "Here's what actually happened." Like, let's like when you. It's crazy how different a podcast sounds when you have someone that brings actual facts and like is knowledgeable in an area, and it's just like some of the stuff that Ish would used to say that he could just get off with no pushback or correction was kind of insane. And now it's just like when he's not on the podcast, it's like I'm not saying I don't listen to it, but it's kind of like you feel him missing. Like when Ice is missing, I'm okay with that. You know, when Flip is missing, I'm very fine with that. With Ish, it's here and there depending on the topics. But Melissa, you can tell when she's not there, but when Mark is not there, very big difference. Very big difference in the quality of the pod for me. I need the balance.
Balance is good, and kind of staying with podcasting. I know people, hate or love it if you're not like deep into the podcast game. You, if you weren't like, you don't listen to Combat Jack RIP. You don't understand what a good podcast sounds like. Even like, Taxstone, get that man to trial. I don't know if he's innocent or guilty, but I still don't think he's actually been to trial yet. He's just been in jail. But even
Yeah.
him, they're great podcasters. And I said the group chat, asked if they tapped into the Joe and Jada podcast, which is damn, Fat Joe and Jadakiss. And the only reason I listen to this podcast is because I have my man Stove God Cooks on the podcast. I feel like I haven't heard him do very many sit downs with people or talk at all really outside of his music. And I was like, all right, bet, like this is gonna be cool. Within the first 15 seconds, I'm like, this is fucking terrible. It is some of the
Yeah.
worst podcasting I've ever heard in my life. And shout out for Joe for being graceful, Joe Budden for like saying like, "Oh, I love those guys, great pride." That shit is ass.
He probably doesn't listen to it.
It is terrible. It is not good. And I wish I knew. Oh yeah, God. There we
Hear me
go.
good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That
Oh
shit
God.
is a two-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stink.
They sound like two old ass brothers from New York City, and there's no structure. Fat Joe just be telling like the whole like
Getting
thing
off
that
so many lies.
he lies. He might tell more lies per second than Donald Trump. It is insane. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like we have Stove God here, who's been on a heater recently with him being on the Clips album with some good hooks. He was on the Heels Have Eyes 2 West Side Gun, and just kind of been bubbling under the surface as kind of to a lot of people still an underground artist. If you haven't listened to Reasonable Drought, check that out. This is one project he really has out, and like this is where you appreciate the Joe Buddens of the world because he takes this seriously. Like I feel like Fat Joe and Jadakiss are just kind of doing it because maybe somebody told them they can make some money off of it. But they're not good at it. I get they're rap legends in a sense, but they're not good podcasters. They didn't really ask any great questions. Fat Joe was like, "Oh yeah, man, the first time I heard you was on this Clips album." He's like, "Yeah, my man's been telling telling me to listen to you. He just never did." I'm like, "Bro, that maybe you should have been like, hey guys, I first heard you on this, but I went back and done my research. I've listened to this. I'm talking to people." Like it was just very unprepared, and it was like it's bad. It's not good. I'm
At some
explaining it
point,
bad, but they don't need to be podcasting. I'm sorry, no disrespect, but all the disrespect. Y'all
it's
are ass.
it's different. It's like people just like back in the day with like, traditional radio, you could just have uh a basketball player come and talk on the radio about basketball, and that was good enough. But with podcasting, it's like it's not good enough to just be, oh, I used to rap. I rapped for 10, 15 years. I had a great career. I dropped classic verses. I had all. You have to be a good storyteller. You have to be a good podcast. You have to have good flow, good chemistry, all this stuff. Like this idea of just sitting in front of a mic and just talking. It's a little bit different now, especially when you listen, like you said, when you listen to like high quality podcasts and you hear how people can talk and their chemistry, and then you listen to someone else where it's just like, oh, okay, you guys were clearly just thrown together, and you guys are just kind of trying to wing this, thinking that there, there's probably a few people that probably read that New York Times article that Joe Budden put out, and they're like, oh, he's making $20 a year doing this, just sitting there talking. And it's like
$20 million.
Yeah, 20 million. Like it's more than just that. There's a lot that goes into this. You have to be, researched a little bit, got to be funny, on point, informative, everything. And people just think they can just, oh, I'm just gonna
Entertaining.
show up and talk. Yeah, it's a lot. It's not easy. And you see it a lot when like athletes and musicians and actors come in. Like I listen to a podcast. The only reason I listened to it is because Robert Downey Jr. was the guest. It was the guy from the X Files, the male character, David Duchovny, I think his name is.
Yeah, Data Company.
He has a podcast, and his first guest was Robert Downey Jr. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I want to be interested in what RDJ is saying, but Dave is just not getting. He's not asking good questions, and they're clearly like they live in the same neighborhood. He lives like they kept mentioning like they live right down the street from each other, but it's like, have you guys ever? It didn't seem like they ever talked until that moment, and and I'm sure they had, but it just didn't sound good coming, you know, through the podcast, like just with the questions and how the conversation went. It was just like this needed to be better. But to go back to Joe, it is kind of interesting that basically a one-hit wonder in rap has become the biggest voice in rap now. Like his opinion is bigger than Hot 97, it's bigger than the Breakfast Club. His voice commands that kind of attention now, to where what he says, Matt, like he said something recently about her being in the studio, like he wants to hear more music from her. The very next day, her is on Instagram saying, "Hey, Joe Budden, I heard you. I'm in the studio." And that, we don't see that often. There's nobody out there that could garner that kind of reaction from, and her's like a big star, and he's able to get her to do that kind of stuff. Not make her do that, but to at least respond and know that, hey, he said something about this. Like, and all these guests that they've been having on recently, every one of them says like, "Yeah, I listened to the pod. Yeah, I heard what you said on the pod. Yes," or someone told me about it. Like, so many people are listening to what he says that there are now uh people that have their own YouTube channels talking about what he says and speculating about the backstories and behind the scenes about what's going on at it's becoming like damn near like a reality show to see what's going on there. And that's a testament to his hard work and just grinding and doing his own thing and following his own vision. And I'm curious to see where it goes from here, like what the end game is for him. You're muted.
I'm gonna send you this video. I sent you the Joe Budden when he was talking about it, and it showed up on my timeline after this. But that shit had me dying. It is interesting, and I feel like Joe is the type, even though he's kind of in his mid 40s, I feel like that he is entertaining enough and smart enough and good enough at his job to not feel like how Fat Joe and Jadakiss felt. Like they just listening to them made me tired. Like I'm just like, bro, like
What?
they just I'll go listen to like the first 5 minutes of that episode. It's so bad. It's so bad. And even kind of like I feel like Joe wouldn't be like an ish. Like how ish kind of sounds like old man manish sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, or like even R.I.P. Combat Jack was probably he was probably in his late 40s or 50s, and he
I
still
think he was in
sounded
his 50s.
yeah, he sounded great, very entertaining, very energetic, very
He
passionate.
sounded in tune with what was going on.
Yeah,
Like he's not out of the loop.
yeah, and that's how Joe sounds. Do you watch those videos yet?
I'm about to watch it now.
All right, let's get the live reaction.
From the city of demons, niggas be scheming, niggas be shooting, senseless violence, and so many reasons. Mental health reasons, financial reasons, keep it real. Shouldn't love this city, but I love this city. Whoa.
All right, so go to the next video. The next video is the actual artist, quote unquote.
What is he wearing?
This dude has like 50 videos of just him just walking around.
He got a lot on his mind. Big ass.
He's dead ass.
Whoa.
He's dead ass serious. He has like 50 videos of just the same thing, but just even little stuff like that. Like Joe Budden blew it up, and now it's on my timeline. I'm about to use that sound for my next sneaker video. 100%.
I don't understand how he has the time to like find all this stuff, find all these obscure things, and then
To be fair, he's from New York. It's probably just his New York timeline.
Well, yeah, but it's not just that. It's the documentaries they watch, all the movies, all the music, just everything. Talking to people, the business aspects. Like it's almost like when does he sleep? And then he goes to the strip club all the time, and it's like, dog, like how do you? I'd like to see. I would like to see a work week for him, like Sunday to Saturday, like what it is that you do, how you spend your time, how you allocate your time and resources, and what you're doing, like researching, like especially like a week where, like, I'd like to see his Sunday through Saturday on Cardi B's album release day, like a Sunday preparing for it, the Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday pod or whatever, and then going into listening to Cardi B that Friday to Saturday and then record. Like I'd like to see that kind of a week on what they do.
Yeah, I mean they put in a lot of man hours over there, so shout out to them. But it's one of those things where he's showing that if you do put in the work and invest in yourself and take risk, I mean, he even admitted himself like he kind of just did his own thing, and the dice fell his way a couple times, and sometimes that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd much rather listen to him than fucking Drake and Bobby Altoff, which I thought she was gone, but this white woman has 9 lives apparently. Because like, what does she do? Like,
It's not what she does; it's who she knows or who she was married to.
that's fair. Yeah, God bless. But yeah, shout out to Joe Budden. Shout out to the JBP. And
It does. It does suck that Drake is never going to talk to anybody. That does suck. Like it's not just Drake. It's Kendrick also. Like I don't think he's ever going to do it. I would love to hear Kendrick like on like Effective Immediately. Like I'd like to hear him on that, and I would like to hear Drake with anybody that knows anything about rap music or rap culture. Like enough with these white streamers that are like 22 years old. Like enough of that. Like talk to somebody who knows something.
I mean, I'd say
I wouldn't even mind if you talked to like Kai Cenat. Like talk to him. Like that's not going to be great, but like academics. Like if you want like a softball interview, talk to academics. He'll give you the easy. He'll give you whatever you want. Ask you anything that you want. He won't talk about things you don't want to talk about. You could give him a list of questions like, "Here, this is what I want to talk about," and academics would sign up for that all day.
That's fair. Just sticking on music briefly, did we need to have a discussion about long and short, guys out there in rap land, guys and gals, please be more creative, right? And when I say that with your album titles, because when you name album titles number two to classic bodies of work, you're only setting yourself up for failure. And there seems to be a trend over the years for this. And ironically, I think the one person that kind of bucked this trend that actually made a good part two of an album was Freddie Gibbs with Alfredo Part Two. Because that shit is fire, right? Alfredo 1 is fire, but Alfredo 2 is crazy, right? But then you have, and I hate to do this, and we need to
Oh no!
support
Oh
our
no!
legends.
Oh no!
And I'm gonna give it another listen. I'm not gonna shit on the entire album, but Ghostface did not have to name that album Supreme Clientele 2. That's all I'm saying. We didn't have
I,
to do that. And Rick Ross did the same thing, Port of Miami 2. I know there's one album y'all gonna say, but it's not true, so I'm not even gonna mention it. But just stop naming your albums part two. You don't have to do that. Just name it something else. Literally just name it anything else. And the expectations aren't there.
that
And
was the thing I was gonna
we can
say.
judge the music more fairly. And I do appreciate that a lot of our legends in the game are still actively putting out music, putting out quality music. I guess my biggest beef with Supreme Clientele 2 is A, the title. And then B, I think back when he first mentioned, he said that Kanye West was supposed to produce it, but I guess that never happened. I didn't check the producer credits, but it didn't sound like Kanye West. And then 3, there, man, I wish I had this shit queued up. But he sampled one of my favorite Commodore songs, Zoom, right? And Ghostface is known for being great over soul samples and just samples in general. But this might not be on Ghostface. This might be on the producer, but this was the worst sample I've ever heard in my life, right? And it's not even because of the song. He literally just has the song playing in the background. There's no chops,
He
nothing.
didn't rap over it.
No, he does. It's just the song is in the background playing.
Oh no! Yeah, nah, that's not good. You got to do something better with that.
Go look up the song. Go pull up the Ghostface Killer song.
Well,
And just
I think the biggest problem with the sequel album titles is which album are you making a sequel to? Like Supreme Clientele is one of like I know how you feel about that album, but that's one of those all-time great classics, and that's probably his, best album. So, for him to name it Supreme Clientele 2, those expectations go all the way up to like, okay, this is going to be uh on par with that, almost kind of like how my expectations for like Blueprint 2 were based off of the first Blueprint, or
Blueprint 2 is
even
fire though.
okay, we don't have to do this. But
Who-
but like even with Nas, like Nas had Illmatic, and he like if you'd have named Stillmatic Illmatic 2 as opposed to naming it Stillmatic, I think that album is viewed a little bit differently. Even though it's a play on the word, but it's not Illmatic 2, it's Stillmatic. It's just little things like that kind of change expectations, I would think.
Yeah, I guess
Alfredo 2 is fire though.
it is fire. Shout out to Freddie Gibbs. Shout out to Gary, Indiana. Shout out to the G. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think Supreme Clientele came out like the year 2000 or 1999. So it's a 25-year album. So it's a sequel to an album that came out 25 years ago, which again is great that we still have our greats that are putting out music. But there were some good songs. There were some songs I was like, I ain't need this, but I do appreciate it. And just moving
Look,
forward, let's just stop doing part twos. Like we don't need to, like if
I'll,
Kendrick Lamar came out with a Good Kid, Mad City part two, I would be upset because the bar would be unreachable. There's not it would have to be. I can't even describe what that album would have to be for the critiques and for the reviews and for the acceptance of the music to be what it should be. Just just don't do it. Just stop doing that.
when it comes to sequel albums, if you were to do a sequel album, like you just like, all right, I'm doing this, whatever. Would you prefer it to be kind of how Jay-Z did it, where it's like he does the blueprint and then the next album is Blueprint 2, or he does it like how he did Blueprint 2, and then his next album I think was the Black Album, and then Magna Carta, and then American Gangster, and then Blueprint 3? Like, do you want space between sequels, or just the very next album has to be the sequel? Because I feel like, you know, if you got to do a sequel, I prefer it just to be the very next album. I think, in my opinion, I think I'd like it to be like that, like kind of how Nas did Magic and then or King's Disease. The very next album was King's Disease too. Like, just keep that
So
thing going like that.
that's a little bit of a different situation. That's more of like that's different. I see what you're saying, but I don't think that's the same because that was like a new project locked in with one producer, and they were just kind of recording songs, putting them together. With those two situations, this is like, all right, cool. This is another album. When did it come out? Blueprint. Oh, damn, that shit came out the next year. Blueprint 3 came out
Yeah, that
7 years
was right
later.
after.
The next album was, yeah, the Black Album. You're right. Again, I have a different opinion, and I think the Blueprint 2 hate is just a vocal minority because every time I hear great quotes about Jay Z, a lot of those quotes are coming from the Blueprint 2. I don't know if people are paying attention, but there's a lot. I think somebody posted like one of the greatest rap verses they heard in their life was from a Blueprint 2 song, and people Joe Budden the Blueprint 2 lines all the time. Like it's Blueprint Thor right. It's Thor: The Dark World. It should not get the hate that it does. It
It's
should not
it's
get.
it's it's the name of the album. If that album is called anything else but Blueprint 2, I think I'd still feel the same about it. Like, so I stand on some of those songs and not being great and not really fitting in. But if he calls that album, a hustler story or something like that, like, we're not viewing it in the same light because of the expectations. Like, Blueprint was a massive album. Like, even though it dropped on September 11th and all that stuff happened, like, it still garnered a lot of attention. It was his most probably commercially successful album. Did crazy numbers, crazy singles, put a lot of, had that, even just the whole, him versus Eminem on Renegade, and Kanye West and Just Blaze, like, kind of pushing themselves into the forefront of production. Like, that album changed a lot back then. And then to come back the next year with the Blueprint 2, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know why he would have I don't know why he did that.
I mean, I don't know about pressure for him because
Oh
again,
yeah.
I still think he delivered. Um,
I don't think anybody would like say that they're on par, because I don't think that there's any bad songs on Blueprint. That would be my main critique of Blueprint 2. Like, comparing the two, like, it's hard to reach that standard. It's just hard. Like, when you have a classic album, it's really hard. Like, imagine Outkast trying to put out a Stankonia 2, like
again, we've if you listen to this podcast
Equimini 2.
for
Like, what are we
years,
doing?
you've done this before. But if you go through the track list of the Blueprint 2, there's not that many bad songs.
If you
A,
go through the
a
track list on
dream.
Blueprint, you go through the track list on Blueprint 1, there are no bad songs.
That's debatable.
I'm talking bad, not songs you don't like. I'm talking about a objectively bad song.
I can see to that point, but for the volume of music, his hit rate
Yeah.
was extremely high in the Blueprint too.
Well,
Extremely high.
the great songs on Blueprint 2 are, like you said, some of the best rapping he's done. Some of the production on there, like the production really carried that album in my opinion. Like the production on there was crazy.
There's some elite rapping on that album as well. So let's not do that.
From Jay-Z for sure.
Okay, that's fair.
That feature list is disgusting. There's some bad verses on that album.
Bad verse. People hate.
As One, that wasn't great.
Oh, that's a posse cut.
I know what that
you're
is.
Putting
I know
you're
what
putting
it
the homies on the album. That's some label shit.
I hate that.
I mean,
I
that's
hate that. Tupac did that a lot. I hate that.
I actually like when Tupac had the homie song.
I hate that shit. Get out of the booth, dog. You cannot rap.
I think
you just happen to be in the room, but he was like, "Hey man, get in here and give me 16."
I think it gave it a distinct feel and sound to his records when he had the random homie, Thug number 1, Thug number 2, Goon 3 come on the record. I like that. I like that shit. I like that shit. Sticking in music is a very music heavy episode. Getting our lungs under us. Clearly I haven't potted in like 80 months, but it is what it is. But sticking in that whole era of music, today, well, when you hear it won't be the day, but today is August 31st, and today is the 20-year anniversary of Kanye West's Late Registration. For people listening to this who only know Kanye West as a Nazi and whatever disgusting things you could think about a human being, he actually used to be pretty normal. He used to put out great music consistently. He used to be at the forefront of hip hop production, fashion, anything you could think of. He was that guy, and in some ways he still is that, but just like for the devil. So this is let's see, what can I say about Late Registration? That, I mean, it's very different from College Dropout, I think, in a lot of ways. Just like even how the album starts, the first song, the first song, not skit, Heard Him Say with Adam Levine. That is a very different feature than you got on College Dropout. Like, we know Kanye West is kind of eclectic with his production style and where he pulls from for samples, but to me, on paper, that shouldn't work. But it did. Sounds great. They actually used the hook on that song for a song on Maroon 5's second album that is of the same. So that's kind of cool. I like that in music where they kind of use things for other songs, other albums. They don't really do that anymore because musicians don't really collaborate like that outside of sitting in verses. So I thought that was interesting. It was a lengthy album. I guess it seemed, I don't think it's very long, but it seems to run long. I think it's because the skits kind of make it feel longer than it is. But I think that unlike today, I don't think there's any album today in 20 years will be celebrating like Late Registration. Maybe very few, right? Maybe like some Kendrick Lamar stuff, J. Cole. Outside of the quote unquote big three, we don't get albums like Late Registration which stand the test of time.
I listen, well, not to get off on Kanye West, but I did listen to Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor. That shit holds up very well. But for Late Registration, in my opinion, I think that this is Kanye's best solo rapping album. Like, I feel like this was the best bars he's ever put in an album as a rapper. It's hard to say that because like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy had a lot of great rapping, but he wasn't doing a lot of the great rapping on that album. It was a lot of the features on there. But for him as an individual rapper, I think this was his best rapping. And you kind of have to do that when you have like Lupe Fiasco's verse on Touch the Sky is one of the all-time great like introductory feature verses. You have Jay-Z and Nas on this album. You have Common, Cameron. Like you, there was no choice but to step up your lyrical ability and writing ability on an album with Jay-Z and Nas. You just can't. Not saying that, the College Dropout was mediocre, Sesame Street level bars, but like you have to step your game up, especially when you're working with Common on, because B came out the same year and Kanye West was heavily involved in that. And the song My Way Home was a throwaway from that album. So Kanye's heard the stuff that Common is doing on B, and he knows that he's putting out an album also, and you want to be in that conversation. You have to put out some like quality work, and I think Kanye did that on Late Registration for sure.
Yeah. Again, shout out to Jay Dilla, because if Jay Dilla wasn't sick, then he would have been producing most of that album. But R.I.P. Jay Dilla. But yeah, later.
Is that what he said?
No, that's a statement of fact. He was like in the hospital like for 2 months when they.
No, I'm saying that he was going to do it.
No, he was producing the album. He got sick, and
okay.
then Kanye West picked up. Like he was like living with Common in L.A. And then like he got sick, and then Kanye West, like he has 2 tracks in the album, but Kanye West picked up majority of the workload while he was in the hospital. But
That'd have been crazy.
6 Degrees of Jay Dilla. But yeah, if you haven't listened to Late Registration, then probably should. I mean, I went through it and I not dissected, like I'm not that podcast, but there's a lot of, you could say, iconic bars or bars that still ring out to this day from that album that came out 20 years ago. Either yesterday or today. It might be the 30th. Close enough. Like, for example, let's see. Like I heard him say, he said, "You can't cop cars without seeing cop cars." Probably the most infamous Ye verses from Gold Digger, 18 years. And on the 18th birthday, you found out it wasn't his.
Yikes.
Let's see.
I feel like this was an album where people started lying about Paul Wall.
We had this discussion, but we're not going to do that here. Shout out to Lewski. Shout out to Texas. Shout out to KJ.
H-Town.
I meid there's a lot. Kanye West is an underrated rapper and lyricist. Shout out to that Black King. Oh my God. Shout out to the slab god, Paul Wall.
Yep. Yeah, and having Jay-Z and Nas on the same album at the same time, like I think their beef, in my mind, their beef was still going, and Kanye West worked behind the scenes to make that, like, to resolve that by having them both on this album. That's how I view it. I know that's probably not true, but yeah, I feel like
that's a testament to how hot Kanye West was at the time to get two of the best and two of the most kind of top tier legendary rappers to want to work with him in some capacity. I know he was, deeply connected to Jay-Z through his work through the Blueprint and Dame Dash and all that stuff. But I don't know at that point if he had produced for Nas.
I think I'm pretty sure he produced on God's Son. I think God's Son or Still Mad, but just to be that close to be working with Nas production wise while Ether and Takeover are going on, like that's insane. Actually insane. And that goes to show, like, a Kanye West beat back in 2000 whatever, 2001, 2003. Yeah, it's gold.
I'm trying to look it up now. Let's see. Kanye West, Nas, Lost Tapes, Papa Was a Player. So this was
that on God's Son?
No, this is on the Lost Tapes. So this is like a mixtape. Yeah, I don't think he had produced for Nas at that point at all.
Okay.
Well, I don't know when the Lost Tapes. Lost Tapes came out in 2002. But I don't know if it was an actual album or a mixtape. So he interacted with him one time 3 years earlier and was able to get a verse. So that's pretty incredible uh, from my standpoint. So salute to that king. Let's see. Speaking of, it's not really a transition. Cracker Barrel. Let's talk about them crackers, right? By the time I found out this was a thing, I guess the thing had been resolved. But I had the Jesus Christ, hold on. The thing that a certain group of people in this country choose to get worked up over is diabolical. Restaurants, brands rebrand all the time. And for this to become what it was when I saw it, to the point where people in marketing and research did the numbers, talked to people, polled people, spend a lot of time and effort to be like, hey guys, I think we should move in this direction. Let's streamline our logo. Let's get rid of this old ass, questionable looking Caucasian gentleman sitting by a barrel, probably with black bodies in it. And let's go away from that. Let's just do something clean and fresh. And apparently the woke mob was like, no, we're not going to stand for this. I think they said allegedly they lost like $100 million in stock shares.
God damn.
Which I don't. First of all, there's not $100 million worth of Cracker Barrel sitting for the last 60 years. So
I don't know,
fucking
man.
Bullshit.
Them Cracker Barrels be packed out on Sundays.
I guess, and actually, Cracker Barrel's. I watched the YouTube video on Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is a very interesting company. They might have legitimately lost $100 million. That Cracker Barrel has.
I think I buy that.
They have their own record label. Like
what?
Like all Cracker Barrel's getting money. They're getting
Jesus.
Like all the music they play is like all their music from their artists.
They sell CDs in there.
They got a whole thing going. Like all their like old people shit, like all the stuff they hang. That's like real shit. Like they have a warehouse and they collect all that shit. It's an interesting little business minus the racism. But yeah, so like, yo, we want what is his name? Earl or Raymond? Some Herschel. His name is Herschel. They wanted Herschel back. They wanted
Of course it's Herschel.
Back on the label, on the logo. But there was some other shit. Like there was one of their stockholders that wanted to do like a hostile takeover. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But the front facing story was the whole old white man off the logo shit, which again, if you're trying to attract the younger fan base, because like they lost a lot of their customer base during COVID for obvious reasons. So you kind of want to replace those people with people that are, alive and not, decrepit and going the opposite direction of a paying customer. So that makes sense. But for the internet to kind of bully this lady, the CEO, into doing that, it's kind of crazy. But I guess the positive for Cracker Barrel is this is the most attention they've gotten in probably a decade, and people are interested. It's kind of a win for the go woke, go broke crowd. The math they do with that, I guess. I don't know if it's like sustainable. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, Cracker Barrel's stock prices have gone up 500%. Like, I think it could be like a little shock to the system, but it's fucking Cracker Barrel, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't understand how like it's a go woke, go broke thing. Like the people that were upset about Cracker Barrel changing their logo probably weren't considered woke. Like the people that go to Cracker Barrel that would want that up are the ones that were upset about the label change. Like I feel like people like the woke mob would want that change. Like they would want that stuff off, but they don't go there that often. Like they're not, at Cracker Barrel every Sunday and Saturday mornings. It's a different type of crowd that goes there.
Yeah, and they changed their recipe and their menus. Like their pancakes don't really taste the same no more. They did some weird stuff. See, that's what they should have been mad over. People get mad about the wrong shit. Like I know shit like that. Like they changed their pancakes. They're not like they seem like they used to cook them with like oil, so you can tell they're a little bit kind of greasy, kind of crispy. Now they're kind of like the more flatter, like a pancake that you would get at IHOP, but not as good. Like
Ugh,
they're on some bullshit. Yeah, man. Their biscuit
IHOP is
quality don't seem good.
IHOP is terrible.
IHOP is actually not that bad if you use your own
Ugh.
syrup. If you use your own syrup, it's
I
not
gotta bring
bad.
my own syrup.
Well, the trick is not to actually go into an IHOP. You order the pancakes to the
Getting
crib.
IHOP to getting IHOP to go is crazy. That's actually crazy.
I mean, if you check my TikTok at SB706, top 706 on TikTok, when I was when I didn't have my food stuff, my plates and shit, I ordered because we had people over helping us. I ordered like $100 worth of IHOP, and they sent me like 0 packets of ketchup. And I was this is the things people need to get mad about. Fast food restaurants, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Is there a ketchup shortage? Is there a national ketchup shortage? Right.
Mm.
So I'm in my big back era. So I'm just trying shit. I went to Sonics for the first time in at least 15 years because why the fuck would I go to Sonics? I don't have to live like that. But the cherry limeades are good. So I'm like,
They have. I was gonna say Sonics. I think probably have the best drinks out of any fast food establishment. Best drinks.
that's a problem. But so I'm like, you know what? I ain't been to Sonics in a long time. Let me try one of their hamburgers. And they have like this weird smash burger. And the quickest way to explain this, I don't know if it was good or bad. It was mid because I ate most of it, but I wasn't like happy about it. Apparently, Sonics now has crinkle fries. Like, when did this happen? When did this switch happen to crinkle fries? Crinkle fries are for children. Give me
Nah,
regular French fries, bro. Like, what are we doing?
I stick with the tater tots at Sonics. Honestly, the only place that I eat tater tots from.
It was bad.
I've
It was
never
it
eaten
was
a,
the
I've never eaten the fries there. I always get tater tots.
I've eaten fries there again 30 years ago. Whenever I went last time, or whenever last time I went, but then like it was giving low budget, super low budget. What's my place called? Damn, Shake Shack. It was like the Timu fucking
Damn,
the
not the
Timu
Timu.
the Timu
Jesus,
the Tubi Shake Shack burger.
that's a to be Shake Shack.
That's what
God
it was. I
damn.
was I was very sad. Like, I don't live in Las Vegas no more, and you don't really back to Kanye West. You don't really know what you got till it's gone because the DoorDash in Vegas, bussin'. The DoorDash where I live at now is fucking terrible. You, this is how insane DoorDash is in Vegas, and you could, not that I did this, and not that I would ever do this, but you could DoorDash Nobu to your house.
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it because like that's crazy. Like, but you had the option to do that if you wanted to. Here, there's maybe one sushi place, and it's not good because I already tried it.
Oh no.
So I guess the plus is I won't be spending money on DoorDash, but then I don't have the option to, just order random shit. So now I have to try places like Sonic. I went to a Red Robin's today. I could probably eat at every restaurant in my new undisclosed location in a month if I really try. I could probably do it in like a week if I really tried. But it's mid pack after mid pack after mid pack. I'm trying to find like a hidden gem, like on some Keith
Local.
Lee shit. Yeah,
Gotta
but
eat
this
local.
this shit is fucking. It's not for the faint of heart, but
I didn't know Red Robin was still in business.
I didn't either till I drove past it. I'm like, you know what? It can't be worse than that Sonic burger. It wasn't worse, but it wasn't better. It was the burger just existed. It was just like, all right. I ate like 3 bites and threw that shit in the trash. I'm like, I'm not eating
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
I'm better than
3
this.
bites?
I
I don't have to live like
I
this.
don't have to live like this, man. I couldn't do it, but I don't even know how we got to this. To this. Shout out to King Quest. I don't think there's a Fuddruckers. People keep asking me about Buc-ee's, and I I might be off. I might be off a little bit, but something about Buc-ee's seems a bit racist. I don't know if it's the beaver or the aesthetics. I don't know. I don't.
Off
I
the
feel like
highway.
I shouldn't be eating fucking brisket from a gas station. That's just my personal opinion. And I know that let me ice on this. I know
Oh
the
boy.
Buc-ee's crowd, they Buc-ee's people are like what's another cult? Starbucks, Dutch
Yeah.
Bros. Oh, there's no Dutch Bros here.
Ooh,
either.
Dutch Bros.
I'm fighting for my life. I've had to go back to Poverty Bucks, and not even like they don't all have nitro cold brews. Like they just have like iced coffee. I'm just like, bro, it's 2025. Get the fucking nitro pump. Like, what are we doing? This is an international brand. Every single one of your stores should have the nitro pump. This is fucking ridiculous. Get your fucking life together. But anywho, yeah, the Buc-ee's thing is a cult. I don't know. I feel like they sell the brisket and then do like clan meetings after hours. So until I'm proven otherwise, I'm not rocking with Buc-ee's. I'm good. It's like people that are obsessed with Publix. And I'm speaking
What?
directly to you, Kane. You're a fucking fiend. Publix is not that great, bro.
Obsessed
It's
with
not.
Publix.
I'm gonna have Kane on the podcast one day, and we're gonna talk about this.
Like the sandwiches or like just shopping in general.
They love the pub subs
Pub subs.
and
They're fine.
tendies and whatever they be doing. It's a whole thing. But I'm gonna have him on. I'm gonna have him on one day, so we could talk about this. The countdown to doomsday. That's gonna be a lot of the content here soon. Because I'm ready just to dig into all the theories and all the madness. This is Marvel restoring the feeling. This was the great part of Infinity War. The fake trailers, the fake theories, the stories, the
Behind the
CGI,
scenes drama.
the CGI that didn't exist. And they need to knock this out the park, man. They need
I
to
don't
knock
like
it
some
out.
of the stuff I'm hearing.
I
Some of the stuff. Some things I don't like. I don't like what I'm hearing.
it's only gonna be worse if they start crowdsourcing shit that I see on TikTok, then I know they're cooked. Because
They start what?
if they start crowdsourcing like stuff from TikTok and start using it in the movie, like from that book, like they're very aware of things going on. The Marvel Studio or the what was it called? The MCU, whatever the book you told me you read. Like they're very aware of things, but they're also very thorough in their planning of things. So I feel like they could get away with it because they have a history of like, oh no, we laid these Easter eggs. But they've also said from the people in that book that sometimes they just do shit off the cuff. Or like, oh, we didn't intentionally plan on tying these two things together. Now we kind of have to figure out how we can. And I
Yeah,
think that's
if there's a way, they'll go back and do it.
I think they're
But
kind of
sometimes
trying
they'll
to.
put stuff in there and just be like, this is just it's a little something for the fans. But well, okay, let's see if we can take this a little bit further.
Yeah, I think they're trying to wreck. So and this is no spoiler or secret. Well, unless you haven't seen Fantastic Four, which I think they're actually keeping that in theaters longer. I think I saw a TikTok advertisement that kind of
I did too,
was
actually. I
was,
saw a
was just
commercial
like,
for it.
"Hey, come see this movie
Still
in the
in theaters.
theaters."
Still
And
there.
I think that might be a kind of a jab at DC because I know Superman is now available to stream, which I will stream again because it's a great movie.
They said they
But
did that purposely. They did
why?
it to line up with Peacemaker season 2.
Oh, that's smart. I need to watch that. But yeah, man, like this whole Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom situation is kind of the biggest story. They're trying to kind of retcon the story from Endgame. and I still don't see how they pull that off. I know Doctor Doom has like some mystic powers and shit like that, but I feel if they do that, that's just gonna just cause too much confusion because you're gonna have to spend at least an entire act of the characters having like PTSD or mental issues seeing Tony Stark's not dead, unless they do like some unless they do the very end of the movie. Like, hey, we know it's Robert Downey Jr., but they show him at the very end, and that's like the end of the movie going into Secret Wars. But then they're going to have to spend another entire act of them resolving this issue unless they do like a time skip or something like that. But it it makes things very complicated with this Robert Downey Jr. thing. It makes it interesting because we're talking about it, but landing that plane along with
tough.
the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, the 36 Marvel TV characters that they're going to have to put in the show. Like there's a lot going on. Going on that needs attention.
I think this movie, for me, I feel like this movie has to be 3 hours long, like at minimum, because for one, like obviously you don't have to establish characters like Thor or Captain Marvel or even some of the OG X-Men characters that are going to be in this movie. But you also have characters that haven't had a sequel or room to grow and establish themselves as characters like the Fantastic Four or Shang-Chi or Miss Marvel. And then you also have to establish, like you said, why is Tony Stark Doctor Doom? How did this happen? How do we explain this to an audience that might not be familiar with the comics, that maybe didn't watch the TV show, that maybe skipped out on Fantastic Four, that hasn't seen anything Marvel related since Endgame? What is Doctor Strange doing? Wanda's dead. Where's Vision? Like all these, who's this Asian guy? Like there's a lot of questions that do need to be answered. And that was kind of my main issue with the Fantastic Four. Like I didn't have a lot of issues with Fantastic Four. I did think it was a little bit short, and I felt like you can tell where people's storylines were cut out for time. And I'm just like, okay, if we're only going to put out 2 Marvel movies a year, why are we cutting down the time? Like, why is this movie, instead of 2.5 hours long, why is it only under 2 hours? It's a Fantastic Four. These are 4 major characters. You have the Silver Surfer, who is another major character. You have Galactus, who is another major character. They're in a whole different universe, a whole different dimension. They have a child. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And you're telling me, like, okay, instead of exploring all 4 of the main characters and a little bit of the backstory for the Silver Surfer and a little bit more of the backstory for Galactus, and maybe leaving in all the stuff we shot with John Malkovich, we're just going to cut some stuff and make this movie shorter. Like, why? How does that benefit anybody? Tell the story. 2.5 hour long movies aren't that. It's nothing crazy. Like, this movie doesn't need to be under 2 hours. Like, not Fantastic Four. Maybe, maybe like, you do a Miss Marvel movie. Okay, you can make that under 2 hours. Fantastic Four is that those are too big of a character. They got too much going on for you to just cut that movie down like that. But with Doomsday, the only thing that I do not like that I have heard about it, and it's not a spoiler, but the guy that plays Nightcrawler, he says it's just a lot of green screen, a lot of face swapping, and that just leads to me thinking that the special effects and the CGI, I don't, not saying I don't trust it, but if it's going to be a movie that's heavily relied on CGI and green screen, those kind of movies have a look to them as opposed to what they're doing. Have you seen you probably haven't seen any of the behind the scenes stuff for the new Spider-Man movie?
No.
But they're doing a lot of like practical effects in real locations.
But that just might be for certain characters. You have to use that. But even from like the Marvel book, The Rise of the MCU, they kind of explain how the technology has gotten so much better from when they started. And obviously, there's going to be green screens for a lot of the characters, but it's the Russo brothers. They're directing it, right? They used a lot of practical stuff for the movie. So maybe the stuff that he's filmed, that one character's film, because his character is like all CG, mostly CGI for his movements. But
Makeup. He's
yeah,
Nightcrawler, but he's saying he's acting and he doesn't know who he's acting with or against.
but I
He's
think
just acting against Greens. I don't like that.
I
I
think
don't
they
like
do
it.
that. I think Marvel does that to keep shit under wrap. So, because it's kind of hard to hide people and hide plots, and maybe a lot of stuff he's filming will get cut out. Maybe they're just doing it kind of like with Infinity Wars. Like, hey, we're gonna shoot some of this stuff. We may use it, may not make it
I'm
cut
trying
out.
to
So,
I'm trying to figure out how, because there was someone put out. You remember the Infinity War trailer?
yeah,
At the end of the trailer, it's Captain America, like the regular Hulk,
yep.
Black Panther, Falcon, all in Wakanda running. That scene never was in the movie, and like the Green Hulk was never in the movie. Um, they never did that, and there was someone who filed a lawsuit for like false advertisement.
What?
Someone filed a lawsuit for false advertisement because it was in the trailer, and then it wasn't in the movie. And like I need to go back and look at what happened with that because I think there was something that was put out that said like, hey, you can't do that anymore. You can't put something in the trailer and then not put it in the movie. But then Marvel did that with the Fantastic Four. They put stuff in the trailer that didn't make the movie. So now I need to know if they went back and like kind of took that out or if they won that case because there's a part of me that's kind of like if I'm Marvel, I would do that. I would shoot a lot of stuff, shoot a lot
That's
of alternate scenes, and put that stuff out. And then when you go see the movie, none of that stuff is there or it's totally different. But if people are going to complain, but if I was a fan, I would complain about, okay, well, where was that scene? How come this didn't happen? I was looking forward to that part. So I see both
well,
sides of it.
according to a quick Google search, it's saying that they can be sued for misleading trailers.
So it's on an individual basis for individual movies, not just like I thought it was going to be as a whole. The movie industry could not put out a trailer with stuff that wasn't in the movie.
Let's see, federal judge ruled the movie studios can now be sued under false advertising laws for these deceptive trailers. Who you thought the decision came from years of trailer exclusion footage from our movies? Think again. Lawsuit came to fruition because two slighted Anna de Armas fans who rented Danny Boyle for Richard Curtis yesterday. Oh, so it's not just Marvel movies; it just came from some other stuff. But decision.
But if you haven't seen the stuff for like the new Spider-Man movie, they built some kind of crane and they drive it along and it's like up like not it's probably like 5 levels up and he's doing like the actual movements of swinging and they're just driving him around like New York City. And it looks pretty cool. And so I like the idea of them using that realistic stunt work as opposed to like, all right, we're just going to be in this big warehouse with nothing but green screen all over the place. It just has a certain look to it. Like, see, like if you go back, they post these things all the time. Like I see them on TikTok all the time where they'll go back. You'll see movies from like the one that they post a lot is Pirates of the Caribbean, and the special effects for that movie compared to the movies we get now are
Oh, yeah, that's
drastically
great.
different. And it's just like, how are special effects getting worse with the more technology? And I feel like maybe people are getting faster at doing it, but they're losing the actual creativity and the realism of how it looks, and that it is frustrating to kind of
I
see that.
mean, and they touched on that in the book. What were they saying? That they don't for the CGI. They don't. What they say? Essentially, they use like independent contractors, right? So
Yeah,
like, if they need a scene redone, they'll find whoever can meet the bid for what they can do, and then they'll work on it on the side. And then if need, yeah. So it's probably done like that, so they don't like have a monopoly where I feel like they should have, and they do work with people that they work with before.
yeah,
But
they
yeah,
stick to the same company for the most part.
it's a money thing for the most part. But yeah, and if I'm Marvel, I don't care. Like, I mean, we have Marvel.
What?
We have Marvel lawyers. Like, if you want to try to sue us, good luck.
Oh yeah, that part.
You're gonna run out
Yeah,
of
you're gonna
money
lose.
before we do. So God bless. And
Big bank definitely gonna take that little bank for sure.
and I think with now the way information is shared, I feel like you have to do that because now everybody knows everything about the movie before it comes out. Like I enjoyed that, and again, I did most of the Superman trailers, but I enjoyed watching Superman and getting. Have you watched Superman?
You can go ahead and talk about it.
Well,
You
for
can
the
talk
people
about it. It's fine.
for the people that haven't seen Superman, like it was cool getting to the one part of the movie, and then Supergirl's there. She's not listed in the trailers. She's not listed in the IMDb. She's an uncredited actor. I like stuff like that where you get like genuine surprise in the movie. They could have been promoting her, showing her in the trailer, stuff like that, but they didn't do it.
It's
So
not like a post-credit scene. It's just like in the
no,
movie.
it's like in the movie. So I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
They should do a lot more of that because now if you want to find out, you can piece together the plot of the movie just by going to IMDb, who's listed as cast members.
Were you the one that said that about Fantastic Four? About before Fantastic Four came out, they did that thing for Doomsday where they named all the characters that were going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And then Fantastic Four comes out, and I was like, they're going to kill Sue Storm? Like in the moment, I was like, they're really going to just offer, and I guess either. But then in my mind, I was like, well, they already announced her in Doomsday, so I guess they're gonna bring a variant, and then she came back to life. But still, like the idea that I know everybody in Doomsday before Fantastic Four even comes out, I feel like that was a mistake. Like they're telling too much. They're telling too much.
I've
you
heard
know?
people
Just
complain about that, saying like, "Hey, stop showing the entire." Like they said that Fantastic Four, even in
it's every movie,
Captain
they
America.
like.
It's like, bro, why do like just let us? And that's why I try to tell my friends, I'm like, hey man, like I don't want to see no trailers, I don't want to see no clips, I don't watch trailers no more because they give away the entire movie in the fucking trailer, man.
Like the big thing about Captain America 4 was the Red Hulk. That was the big reveal, and that was in every trailer. Like everybody knew who Red Hulk was, when it was going to happen, and they showed everything about him in the trailers. And then so you get to that part of the movie, and it's just one set piece, one fight scene, and then it's over. And it's like, dog, I saw 95% of this on YouTube. And I'm bad at it. I'm bad with the trailers. Like I watch all the I watch the sneak peek trailer. I watch the full trailer. I watch the TV trailers. I'm leaning towards trying to avoid some of these trailers. I know too much about Spider-Man to do it, but for I think Doomsday, I might try to avoid some stuff. Like I mean, they put out so much of the cast on Spider-Man that I'm surprised how much of the cast they put out for Spider-Man because, like you said, with the Supergirl thing, I mean, it's public knowledge about the casting in Spider-Man, but I think it would have been really cool to be watching that movie and then at some point, the Scorpion character pops up and you're just like, oh shit, they brought him back. Like I've been waiting on that guy for a minute and it's like they finally bring him back, but I know he's in there now. I know at the characters that are in there, the Punisher.
You watched this Miami game?
I'm watching it now.
Damn, damn.
I'm trying to focus. But yeah,
How did they score so quick?
Busted coverage.
Well, we'll dive more into Marvel content as the year progresses to Doomsday. Really quickly, since we're on sports, new state, new betting apps. I have a Prize Picks ticket that I have in.
Oh, brother.
And I need to stop asking like fans. Sometimes you have to ask fans if their bias comes in. But the ticket I have is a season ticket is Mike Evans over 950 receiving yards. Now he's had 1,000 yards receiving every season. He crawled to it last year, which again, that's not 1,000 yards is not a lot. It's like 58.8 yards per game. The next person I have on this ticket, Jahmyr Gibbs, over 300-yard rushing games. I feel like that should be.
Wait, what was that?
Jahmyr Gibbs to have over 3 100-yard rushing games. He
Yeah,
breaks a lot of big. He
yeah,
breaks a lot of big records.
I like that. I like that. 3. I like that. Over 3 or 3.
More than 3.
Mm,
17-game season. You just need.
that's true. That's true. But well, I was gonna say the Lions usually have a lead, but if you have a lead, that means you're running the ball. So yeah,
Bijan Robinson over 1,199 yards. He gets the ball. They have right tackle issues, but he had what 1,400 yards, 1,400 yards last year, something like that. He's gonna get the rock, whatever.
yeah.
Drake London over 7 receiving touchdowns. I can see that.
I can see that too.
If
I
he
can see that.
if he scores every
Every
3
2
games
games.
and then has like a two gamer here and there. And then my last one is Kyle Pitts.
Here we go. This is where they get you.
This is the hook.
I was
Kyle-
gonna do it too.
Kyle Pitts to have one 100-yard receiving game. Just one.
Ooh,
Just
I like
one.
that. I do
Just
like that.
one. Just like it. Again,
do like
he
that.
has big play capability. He just needs to have one good game. And
He's got the
he's in a
got the physical
contract
talents,
year. He's in a
full of
contract
physical
year.
tools.
Him and Michael Penix have been, putting in work.
Locked in. Well, I would I don't know if you can do it yet, but any overs on Calvin Ridley, I think I would take those.
Yeah, I'm
Just based off of the preseason, like Cam Ward was locked in on him the entire
Yeah, I
game.
was gonna draft him in fantasy.
I think I've got
didn't
him in
know,
every I think I've got him on every team.
Yeah, but we'll get back to that. But I think we did good. First pod back in the game, back in the books, back at it. Hopefully next time I'll have my lighting situation set up. Trying to get my office set up to do more sneaker content. So we'll be at it. So appreciate y'all tapping in. Get into more music stuff next time. Probably try to clip this up on TikTok. Try to stay consistent. Even though TikTok be scamming people, but like I feel like they have the right to scam people that like break crazy numbers. Like somebody had like 100 million views and they paid them like $1,000. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That's crazy work, man.
But-
Like 100 million views. Here's $10.
Yeah, they should have got. Damn, what's it? I think it was like $1,000 for every million views, or something like that. They should have got way more than $1,000. Maybe the check was still processing, but I mean, I'm not greedy. Like, just let me pay this light bill. You know what I'm saying? Let me put some groceries in the refrigerator off of TikTok. I'm cool. I'm not greedy. So, but we gonna pump out this content. Appreciate y'all tapping in. We out. Peace.